Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being with us today on this wonderful Thursday morning. I welcome all of you to our webinar for today, Big Ideas, Small Pockets, How to Design Your Space Without Breaking the Bank by Blaine Robert in collaboration with Niro Ceramic Group. Now, as we begin our session for today, it is my pleasure to welcome Blaine Robert, the founder and creative director of Blaine Robert Design. Now, a little bit about Blaine before we go into his sharing. As a 16-year-old in his native Canada, Blaine showed a strong inclination towards home decor at a very early age. Now, after graduating from the University of Calgary in 1986, he worked in Canada for 2 years. And in 1988, inspired by Japanese architecture and minimalist design, he made the decision to move to Tokyo, Japan, where he spent the next 12 years working in freelance design, creating better lives for people. I'm sure Blaine will be able to share a bit more about his background as well. He is a prominent figure in the interior decor space in Malaysia, often invited to judge competitions and property award events in Malaysia. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Blaine is a very esteemed person when it comes to interior design, and I'm sure he'll be able to share a lot more later. But speaking of design, a beautiful home decor is a perfect marriage of different elements and accessories. And the design process is a recipe of perfect proportions and ultimately provides us scrumptious results. The interior design world is getting more creative and innovative with many design styles trending, shaping customer choices, which often concerns costing. Now, I know I speak for a lot of us on this call when I say that as new homeowners or even interior designers, there is always the struggle of trying to deliver sophistication in design, be it in your home or in your office space, but at the same time, finding a way to merge the gap between breaking the bank and achieving that really sophisticated and premium design. Now, worry not, our expert Blaine today is all ready to share with us some budget-friendly designing ideas, his experience with some of his clients, the best practices that you can employ to ensure that you can achieve sophistication without breaking the bank, and all these and how they can complement the personalization for each home and even the other spaces around you. Now, without further ado, let's begin our session today. I'd like to welcome Blaine Robert, the founder and creative director of Blaine Robert Design, to share with us on how you can design your space without breaking the bank. Blaine, the time is yours. Thank you so much.
Hi, good morning, everyone. And Carlos, thank you so much. I so much appreciate that introduction. You always introduce me well and make me look as fabulous as I think I am. So I appreciate that. But more importantly, I want to welcome everybody this morning. 10:30 in the morning is a little bit early for me, but still I'm here to talk about what I really, really love. I'm going to talk a little bit about who I am. Carlos did a great introduction, but I am Blaine Robert. I am the founder, the CEO, and the creative director of Blaine Robert Design Center for Art, based here in KL. I tell you, I've been in Malaysia for over 20 years, but my history did start way back in Canada. When I had the opportunity to leave Canada and move abroad, I had the chance to either go to Australia or to go to Japan. I thought to myself, now, which country would really blow my mind and give me the opportunity to really see what was going to be interesting and unique and special moving forward. While I was in Japan, I was working with a Japanese fashion designer. I got his house, and that's where my career really took off. It's really about timing, and it's really about being in the right place at the right time. But you can't always depend on that. You have to have the courage and the passion and the belief in yourself to be the best you can possibly be. So I must say, it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy for anyone, myself or for you, I'm sure. But I tell you, just don't give up and just always strive for excellence and know that your own personal character and integrity is what's most important. So after I was in Japan for 13 years, actually, not 12, I decided that was enough. And then I moved to Hong Kong. To be honest with you, I really needed a break. And Hong Kong was that break. So if you ask me what I really did in Hong Kong for 2 years, I can't really remember, except to say I was really having a good time. But that is where it all started. That is where my career started. And this is who I am today. I've got a very large, not large, a medium-sized company here in Kuala Lumpur with around 40 staff. Staff that contain lead designers, junior designers, technical people, as well as project management, site supervision, ideation, the whole gamut, as well as having our own factory where we customize all of our home furnishings and joinery works for our projects. So that is really what the company is all about. But then a lot of people ask me, but Blaine, why would you choose Malaysia? After I left Hong Kong, I moved to Singapore. And when I was in Singapore, I was coming to KL a lot, between KL and Singapore, Singapore and KL. And I tell you, that's where I met all of my friends. This was in the year 2000, 2001, and 2002, when KL had the most incredible club scene and nightlife scene. So I tell you what I did. I got my secretary to buy me a ticket. I used to go to Changi Airport, pay $100 more and upgrade to first class. Because baby, if you're gonna fly, you might as well fly first class. I'd get to the airport, upgrade, then I'd go to the lounge and have a few glasses of champagne, steal all the good magazines, and then I'd come to KL, and I really enjoyed my experience here. And like I said, that's where I met all of my friends. So that's when I decided, no, it's time for me to take responsibility for my own life and for my own happiness and really create my own path in life. And I've got absolutely no regrets. But saying that, it hasn't been easy. So I tell you, these are a few projects that I'd like to just highlight to you that we've done here in Malaysia. When you see names like the Ritz-Carlton Residence, you know, you really understand the brand. But as you can see here, it's all about a seamless design. When you walk into a property, you want to look at the floor, you want to start looking up, and you want to look to the ceiling. Oftentimes in design, there are certain things that are forgotten, especially the ceiling. So it's important to always have a seamless flow from bottom all the way up to the top. So the Ritz-Carlton Residence is a fantastic brand. Next, the private bungalow project in the East Coast. I tell you, I get goosebumps even when I talk about this project. To wake up in the morning on the beach and watch the sunrise as it's streaming into your 10,000 square foot house. But that's what it's all about, creating that seamless design and creating an overall look and feel that just makes you feel really, really special. After that, of course, we worked on the St. Regis. Now, the St. Regis is an international brand. It is one that if you're in Malaysia or you're in Hong Kong or you're in Europe or in North America, the look and feel is all the same because they identify themselves as a brand. They've always got that dark marble floor with that light white or gray swirl through it. But again, it's all about incorporating a seamless design. In this case, a lot more muted palettes, a lot more neutrals, and very, very sleek. And one of my favorite words, very, very sexy. And then, of course, as you know, here in KL, we've got the new Four Seasons. It hasn't been with us here long in Malaysia, but it has seriously created a presence in the KLCC area. This project in itself is another one that screams brand. Now, I'm Blaine Robert. These are the projects that we work on. And you might think, oh boy, I don't have these kind of budgets. Well, not everyone does. And that's not something to be embarrassed about, or it's not something to feel ashamed of. If you've got a 5 million ringgit budget or a 50,000 ringgit budget, we all work very hard for our money. And if you work very hard for your money, then that amount of money is important to you. So when you choose an interior design firm to work with, that's what's important. You have to choose an interior design firm that understands who you are and what you want. And what I mean by that is, you as a consumer, you have to sit down for an initial visit with an ID firm. You don't want to talk about giving a check or any money for design fees at this particular time. It's about meeting each other and having a meet and greet and building a relationship of trust and integrity. When you're sitting with an interior design firm, you might sit with somebody who says, oh, no problem, no problem. Yes, 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 can. These are the kind of things that you've got to be a little bit nervous about. You want to sit with somebody who is open and honest with you and says, this is what can be done within your budgetary constraints, and makes clear, realistic expectations so that the project comes to the end and it's a successful outcome for everybody. Not just yourself as the homeowner or the restaurant owner or the commercial property owner, but as the interior design firm. I like or demand to stand proud next to all of my projects when they're completed, no matter how much the budget is, because each client, whether the budget is high or whether the budget is low, each one of them is really important. But then when you're talking about budget, you have to decide where to allocate. And core. Core is where it matters. A core renovation means where are you going to spend your great amount of money? It always comes in the tiling works or the marble works, the extension works, the wet works, and the M&E. So this is where you need to spend a little bit of money. But saying that, the renovation is one of the most difficult jobs in the world. It's like putting a 10,000 piece puzzle all together and making sure that each little piece fits perfectly. The only way that this can be achieved is if you're working with an interior design firm that's licensed or has got the credentials to be able to meet your expectations. So this is what's important. So let's talk a little bit more now about what today is all about: safety. Being in Malaysia for as long as I've been in Malaysia, I'm asked by many suppliers, will you help us to promote our product? I'm always open and happy to do that because I've worked with many suppliers in Malaysia. But when I pick and choose who I want to work with, I always choose suppliers that I know I can depend on. And what I mean by depend on is when they say it's going to be delivered on Tuesday, it's got to be delivered on Tuesday. When they say they've got available stock, there must be available stock. But we don't live in a perfect world, and from time to time, things go wrong. So in that case, you need to work with people who give you advance notice and say, we've run into an obstacle, these problems need to be solved, and they work together with you. So when I work with people, I don't call them suppliers, I call them business partners. And Niro Ceramic Group has always been a fantastic business partner for Blaine Robert Design. I've always been able to trust that they've been able to meet my expectations. If my expectations are met, then the expectations of my client and a successful outcome to the project is always achieved. So it comes down to the product. In this case, invest in safety. You know, a safe environment in your home or your retail space or wherever it is a good investment. And at the end of the day, when you go to sell that property or you sell that business, it's those core things like safety that add value to your investment. By adding value to your investment, you're able to have a more solid portfolio to be able to gain more revenue and do well in the future in a sales and purchase. So let's talk about the Slip Stop series. How important is the safety and protection of the people you love? If you want to know the truth, if it comes from my heart, the answer to that is priceless. These are the areas where you've really got to pay the most attention. And the Slip Stop series is being designed especially to do this. Next, where do the greatest number of accidents happen? And I think you might think it's a cliche, you've heard it a million times, but the answer is your home, and the answer is true. More than 80% of accidents that don't happen on the road happen at home. And where do they happen at home? They always happen in the bathroom or in the kitchen or in the laundry area or in the outdoor garden. So the Slip Stop series is being designed to be anti-slip. It's very easy to clean, it's extremely durable, and it's a multi-application. What I mean by multi-application is it's able to be used in all areas of the home. A lot of people think that tiles are just for the floor, but they're not. They're for the floor, they're for the walls, they're for trimming, they're for all aspects. of the home. But what's important is that the Slipstop series has the technology to be able to protect your family. This is a new kind of technology that Niro Granite Group has been working on. And later on in this presentation, we'll go through a little video. I was lucky enough to be asked by them to put together a little video for you. But if I'm going to talk about this and support it as a business partner, I want you to be able to see how it works. That's what's most important. But then we're also going to talk about, if you've got a budget and that budget isn't a big budget, what are the tips and ideas that I can give to you to make it all work? The first one that I'd like to talk about with the Slipstop series is the Bergamo series. This one is cool and industrial vibe. This is great for walls, it's good for everything, but what it's really good for is creating that sexy feeling, creating that cool kind of environment that really feels as though you want to be a part of the group. So this particular product is Legacy. Now, the Legacy series is a lot more sophisticated and elegant. It kind of has a bit of a marble finish, which creates a completely different look than that industrial vibe. But even putting these two things together really creates an interesting overall look and feel. The next one is the Pedrical series. Now, just by looking at these, you can tell by the four colors that it's got a sexy vibe about it. And this too, the Pedrical series, all of these series, Bergamo, all of them are meant for both indoor use and outdoor use. So for outdoor use, trimming around a pool, the sloping around a pool, going just into the property, outside the property, anywhere in the kitchen where it can get wet, anywhere in the laundry area, or in spaces where you feel that your kids are going to be spending a bit of time. So what I'd like to do now is, like I said, they so humbly invited me to come and actually experience the Slipstop series. So I want to go through a little video for you so you can see me in action showing you exactly what it's all about. Let's take a look.
Hi, good morning. I'm Blaine Robert, the CEO and Creative Director of Blaine Robert Design, and I'd like to welcome all of you to the Niro Ceramic Group. Today we're going to talk about Slipstop, how to protect ourselves, protect our families, and take care of the people we love the most. So let's go in and have a little look around. Come on. The Niro Ceramic Group has got a very long history. As a matter of fact, it's over 40 years old with over 100 locations worldwide, with an amazing selection of the most luxurious tiles. Let's go take a little look around throughout the gallery and let me show you how these things can be used in your home or your F&B or wherever you want them to be to make your life a special life. Let's go take a look this way. Slipstop tiles, what are they really? They're a new technology that's been specifically designed to protect you and to protect your family or to protect anything that needs being protected. Because really, at the end of the day, your family is what's important, and so are your staff or everybody in general. So it's important also to understand that the pricing is affordable as well. But how important is it to make sure that your family is protected? With this particular product, we are able to do that with Slipstop. So let's take a look at how it all works. This is one of the newer products here that's called Legacy. With Legacy, we've got kind of that marble finish in that Italian design. If we're able to cut it in different sizes and different patterns and add it all together, you can create a really contemporary edge or a contemporary vibe. Let's keep looking around at some of the other models that we have and the other brands just to see how they can be used in a different way. This way. The Slipstop Legacy series comes in 3 colors, a lighter, a medium, and a darker color. And then what you're able to do is you're able to put them together with different kinds of look and feel. For example, the Legnick series. For home or for a bathroom or for an office, you're able to mix and match these things and put them together and create a luxurious look and feel. It's all about the drama and feeling good. And the Pedrical series, this is something that's really interesting, that granite finish that comes in 4 different colors. And what this is especially good for is the bathroom, creating that really clean image and giving you the safety you need with the Slipstop finish. This is what it's all about, creating an environment that's safe for your family and still having the glamour and sophistication and the elegance. The Pedricle series is what's really important because you're able to mix and match it with Tanglestone. And when you put these things together in different cuttings and different widths, and you create an environment that creates illusion and drama, especially for those outdoor areas, around swimming pools, in gyms, or any place that gets really wet. So that's what it's all about, creating an image and creating a drama that looks fabulous. Well, I've taken you through the whole experience and the whole range of the Slipstop series, but now I want to talk about the technology. The technology is all about infusing that technology into the porcelain tile, making the surface friction worthy, making sure that it is safe and comfortable and protects everybody that you love. As an international interior designer, that's what's important to me, making sure that everything and everyone is protected. Now, I want to take you on a little tour and show you how it actually works. Let's go over there and take a look. So let me take you on the tour. Here we are with a matte finish surface and we have the Slipstop surface. Take some water and put it on because this is what life is about. It's about water falling on the floor, or it's about water being around a pool. You take your shoe, you put it on the matte surface and you're in trouble. You put it on the Slipstop surface and it doesn't move. This is what we call protection. Protecting the people that you love and making sure that everything is perfect for your life. So this is an example, but let's actually take a look at what real life is all about. We've got a matte surface over here and we have the Slipstop on this side. We put it on here, we go on here, hold tight, and you can see how much you slip. On the Slipstop surface, you don't move. It's all about protection. I'm Blaine Robert, and I want to thank everybody for being a part of the magic today at the Niro Ceramic Group. So come down to the show gallery, see what they've got, see how the Slipstop product works, and see how it can be used to protect your family and protect your life. That's what it's all about. And it doesn't break the bank, because at the end of the day, that's important as well. So I want to thank you all and have a great day. Bye.
Wow. First of all, I think I really want to thank the editing team at Granite because boy, did they make me look not nearly as fat as I thought I was going to look in that video. But that was what I really wanted to take you guys on a tour about first. I wanted to show you exactly what the product was and how it works and what the technology was. But now, if you take a look here, with this series, like the Pedricle series and Pergoma series, all of the series, this is where you're going to be spending the money. These series are great for outdoors, as I said earlier. Edging for indoor and outdoor, pool edging and sloping, barbecue areas and pantries, basically any areas that are going to get wet and you feel that people are going to have high traffic and there could be the possibility of accidents. Accidents can be prevented, so prevention is what's important. Next, you put your money where it makes the biggest difference. Again, here in this particular look and feel with the Legacy series, we've got the full floor installation, the shower stalls and nooks, all around the vanities, as well as the bathtub framing. Now, prevention is a must in the kitchen, especially when you've got that open concept kitchen that goes from indoor to outdoor. This is where accidents always happen, especially if you're carrying things in your hands. So let's be careful here and make sure to use a product that is going to protect your family and protect the ones that you love. And we should also not forget the laundry areas and the pantry areas, places where water can be used in laundry or in pantry areas where things can be broken and left on the floor and be a little bit slippery. So let's be careful about that. Next, of course, is the F&B. In F&B, this is where a lawsuit can happen. So this is where that expenditure should be made. Edging on the indoor and outdoor, general floor installation, bathrooms and wet floor, but most importantly, the entrance and the exit flows. So this is where it's used. But I tell you now, how do we put that all together? Like, we're spending the core amount of our money on doing the wet works and the core, but now how do we do it in a way that we're not going to break the bank and still make it look really, as I love to say, sexy? And baby, the answer to this is always styling. Styling, baby. I tell it to all of my team at the office every day. Whenever I'm given a design review to look at, I always say, where is the styling? Where is the styling? Because that's what pulls everything together. So let's take a little look at some tips and some tricks on how to use your core and spend the money, but then economize your budget with little ideas on being able to sexy it up, style it up, and make it truly something that reflects your personality and character, and with pieces and colors and things that really say a lot about you and your personal character. Simple. Legacy series throughout the whole entire bathroom. A very sleek Italian look. Very clean, very hotel feel, very resort. But let's talk about the ceiling treatment. In this particular case, I chose yellow, but I don't want to talk about the word yellow because as an interior designer, and all of us are interior designers, including you yourself, we have to choose better words. It's not yellow. In this case, it's canary. You know, if it's orange, it's not orange, it's sunset. You know, it's not purple. If it's not purple, what is it? It's violet. You use a word that evokes an emotion or an emotional response. This is what you have to think about when you're styling. Not just, oh, I like canary, but how do I want to feel when I go into that bathroom? So you choose a color that really kind of makes you feel the way you want to feel. In this particular case, on the ceiling treatment, we chose canary. So painting the ceiling, this is something a lot of people don't do, and it's very cost effective. The ceiling needs to be painted anyway. Excuse me. The ceiling needs to be painted anyway, so let's paint it in a color that turns us on, whether it's going to be canary or a muted form of that color or whatever color you want, but learn how to come up with a new word for that color that doesn't say a color, but says an emotion or the way you want to feel. So a simple, clean bathroom, but what have we done? We've painted the ceiling in a feature color. Next, artwork installation. This is something people never do in the bathroom, but it's something I do in absolutely every single project. Artwork. If on the cheap end, you go to the internet to a high pixel quality or a high resolution, you can have it printed out and you can have it put into a cheap IKEA frame. There's no need to be drilling into the walls and destroying the ceramic tile. With the new technology and 3M Velcro tapes, you're able to affix these things on the wall. But if you're going to choose a ceiling treatment in a canary, then let's pull in grays and golds and taupe colors and neutral colors in the artwork to create a balance. This is a very inexpensive way of taking your bathroom from a sleek resort look to a really sexy bathroom that screams your personality and screams who you are. So artwork. And the cheapest way to do it is, like I said, going to the internet. But there are many inexpensive artworks that can be purchased throughout the country. There is one company called Bliss.my that I like a lot, very reasonably priced, all oversized with a really clever sense of design feel in what they choose. Or there's companies like SSF, or there's lots of companies and shops throughout Malaysia where you can find artwork. But the trick is keep everything in the same color palette. Next, pendant lighting. Did you ever think of actually adding pendant lighting to your bathroom? Well, I tell you, there's barely a project that I do where I don't pull in pendant lighting. You know, a really sleek glass with a bronze or a gold finish look and feel hanging between the two sinks or hanging on the left side or the right side over the vanity with an incandescent light in a warm yellow or a warm white that just makes your complexion looks good. You know, with the gold trimming on the pendant lighting and then pulling in the canary color in the artwork and then a striking ceiling, we're already starting to see that this bathroom is transforming itself into something that's kind of unique and special, but something that will tell everybody about who you are and what your personality is. Next, Accessories. Accessory placement, again, so important and often forgotten. This is where a place like IKEA is actually not even a bad place to go. But there are other choices like Metro Giant, Mid Valley, or like Sogo, where they've got interesting designs and interesting colors and interesting patterns that can all be put together at very affordable prices. Here, this particular one, we were looking at 90 ringgit for the full set. And we also live in a world now where we shop online. So go online for these things. But if you do go online, make sure that you're actually purchasing what you want. After accessories, we have to take a look at the soft finishings. And when I say soft finishings, I don't just necessarily mean towels. You know, your towels, should they just be a matte with a flat finish, or should there be a design in them? And a carpet. Would you ever think of pulling in a carpet into your bathroom? There are washable carpets that you can use, and they add such a soft and a warm, but yet an inviting touch. Make sure to pull it in the same color palette that you've decided for the whole look and feel. So you're starting at the floor, you're working yourself up, you take a look at yourself in the mirror to see how fabulous you are with the pendant light, and right up to the ceiling where you've got a striking color that really says something about you. So after soft finishing comes accessories. This is something people often don't do in a bathroom either. They might put in a plant, but that's all they do. Accessories, there are so many places where you can find really interesting things. But when you're choosing accessories, don't just choose something that you think is right for the bathroom. Make sure to choose something that you personally like yourself. Something that you can put into the bathroom where when people come, they look at it and it says something about you and something about your character and personality. So accessories and deco installation is really important as well. On the vanity, around the bathtub, on the wall, or on the floor. In a lot of my larger bathrooms, I'll actually even put a sculpture in. It's important to just create something that really is unique and special. After deco accessories, we always should think of a touch of green. Now, if you don't have a lot of natural light in the bathroom, then in this case, you can use imitation. There are good quality imitations, but if you are going to use imitation, only use one and don't use any more. If you can put the real thing in, try and put the real thing in. It absorbs the carbon monoxide or dioxide or whichever it is, and it just creates a healthier environment. And going back to accessories, something that is always missing, and whenever I go to a bathroom, is a signature scent. You know, for a very reasonable price, anywhere from 9 ringgit all the way up to 500, if you want to spend that ridiculous amount of money, you can find a fragrance that just says something about your bathroom and something about you. But when you choose a fragrance, don't choose something that you think your bathroom should smell like. Choose a fragrance that you want yourself to really love. When you go in and you smell it, it's a smell that just evokes an emotion and really makes you feel good. So these are the tips and tricks on how to really create that kind of environment. You've got a very sleek, clean bathroom, but what you've done, you've popped the ceiling, you popped the artwork, you popped the accessories, you popped the soft finishings, you popped the green element, you put it all together, and you've transformed this bathroom into something that really says, welcome to my home, you're welcome here, and I want you to be a part of my family for that time. So then comes window treatments. Another thing that people don't do. You've got a window in the bathroom, put a sticker over it, done. But why just necessarily put a sticker over it? Why not use a window treatment as well? A roller blind of some kind, or something organic, you know, or something even in a bit of a roller blind, something that's easy to clean and easy to maintain. But it takes a very cold, dark window that adds no value, and it turns it into a showpiece or turns it into something that really says your bathroom has been well thought of. I tell you, when it comes to bathrooms, Whenever I go to a property or whenever I go to a hotel or ever to a restaurant, people ask me, oh, Blaine, what do you think? What do you think of this place? I tell you, I always reserve judgment until I go to the bathroom. Anyone that understands that the environment of your bathroom also needs to have a bit of life, if they're willing to invest a little bit of time and effort and minimal money, even into their bathroom, you know that they're thinking about the rest of the property or the rest of the restaurant or the rest of the hotel or the rest of wherever you are. So a window treatment is something I don't see very often, but in the Blaine Robert design projects, it's something you'll always see. So basically, we've just gone through what we would do in a bathroom. And if you read this, this is something I quoted a long time ago. In short, it's all about an emotional response. We took a very clean, simple bathroom and we just turned it into something that really screams who you are and what your character is and the way you want to present yourself and portray yourself to the rest of the world. A simple aspect like a bathroom, but all of this can be done throughout the rest of the house. It's all about accessories. It's all about choosing the things that you love. But I'll say it again, choose the things that not necessarily are the things you think are right, but choose the things that you love. My mother taught me a long, long time ago, never buy a gift for anybody that you wouldn't want to have yourself. So that's what it comes down to when it comes to accessorizing your home or using a minimal budget to be able to really push it up to that next level. But remember, whatever you choose, there must be an emotional response to it. That's what's most important. So these are a few little examples here of accessory or how to accessorize or what to use in order to create an impact. In this particular case, it's all about pendant lighting. On the left, simple and clean and industrial, creating an edge. So the ceiling treatment is left very clean and simple with the lighting installation. So you bring in now a lot of the green feature to kind of balance it. On the right side, you've got a very strong, very impactful pendant light. So in this case, that is your core feature. Don't accessorize it any more than that. And then bring in shares that can kind of match in the color palette. You guys, I tell you, pendant lighting, very extravagant, very detailed, very gorgeous, very everything. Any single design you could possibly dream of is available. And pendant lighting now, thanks to China, gotta love China for this, pendant lighting is very affordable. So think about that. Not just normal ceiling light, but pull in something that's really going to say something about who you are and what you want the rest of the world to know about you. Here, again, pendant lighting on the right. This is a particular one that we purchased for less than 500 ringgit. And it will last forever, it's contemporary, and it will always look good. And nobody will come into your house and say, oh, what an ugly pendant light. It screams statement, it screams personality, and it screams character. The rest of the house can be left very clean and very simple, but that in itself is a piece of sculpture. On the left side, here what we've done is we've accessorized. The walls are painted clean, but statement art piece. Even putting an art piece leaning on the top and leaning back onto the wall, and then accessorize it with things that you've collected from your travels or from places that you've been or things that you purchased here, but make sure it's something that you love. It's important that everything you put in your home has an emotion, makes you feel a certain way, and makes you be able to portray yourself to people the way you want them to see you. Next, simple and clean. Bringing in glass accessories, bringing in sparkly accessories, bringing in chrome and shiny accessories, and then contrasting it with something that is a little bit harder and more textured. This is a very simple way of being able to bring that overall look and feel up without breaking the bank and conserving your money so you can spend it on what's important, like the wet works, the tiling, the extensions, the M&E, these things. And then on the left side, a very traditional kind of pendant light. But as you can see here, the pendant light in itself is the character statement for the room. And then underneath glass, and then something very soft and luxurious that wisps in the wind when the window is open, and then accessorized with books. And books is another thing. I love to have books in all of my projects. And I always ask my clients, what's a topic that you really love? And when that project is done, I've always purchased a book that is specially aimed or directed at exactly what my client loves. So another one here. Here, a very expensive renovation, but the pendant lighting was relatively inexpensive. The soft finishings were very inexpensive. The carpet, not that expensive. And then it brings it down to curtains. I tell you, some people spend an outrageous amount of money on curtains. But curtains are something that just need to be washed once or twice a year. You don't need to be spending an enormous amount of money on curtains. Curtains should be something that after 3 or 4 years, if you feel, I want a different color palette for this room, I want to change the overall feel. If you've spent a fortune on your curtains, they've got to stay there forever because they're so expensive. But if you haven't spent a lot of money to do that, then you can take the curtains down, put them in the spare bedroom, put them somewhere else. It's all about spending money wisely. And then in the kitchen, in a dry kitchen like this, always a display cabinet. This isn't a place to put your KitchenAid and your food blender and your juicer. This is a place to display accessories, things, again, that you love that say something about who you are and about who your character is, but create a statement piece for people to walk in and go, oh, wow, is it a living room or is it a dry kitchen? Incorporate that overall look and feel to create the environment that says sexy. Then here again, if you see over to the right, this particular client was a Muslim client. So we incorporate artwork that says something about who their culture is and who their heritage is and who perhaps their religion is. Not expensive to do these kind of things, but by incorporating them into the project, you're really able to create a cost-effective way of doing things. Then on the left side, we pulled in a lot of shine. We pulled in a lot of chrome. We pulled in a lot of things that are small and large, but we've kept everything within the same color palette. Just when we went through earlier in the bathroom, we started off with the canary color, and then we pulled in that color with the artwork. We pulled in that color with the soft finishing. We pulled in that color or colors similar to that on the same side of the color wheel for the accessories. It's the same for your home. When you purchase, don't buy something that you love. Think about the big picture. How is it going to fit in the house? Is it the right size? Is it the right mood? Is it the right feel? So this is how it all works. This is something that a lot of people comment on our social media, and it's something that I came up with a long time ago. Modesty is good in design. Modesty meaning simple and clean and elegant. But I tell you what, baby, decadence is so much more fun. Really get in there and just create, buy things, inexpensive things, reasonably priced things, expensive things. Buy them all, but think about the big picture and put them in there and just scream who you are and scream who your personality is. Anyhow, I would really like to thank everyone. It's always a pleasure to be a part of the Niro Ceramic Group. They are a very good business partner, and I feel honored and privileged to be a part of this today. I want to thank each and every one of you who have participated or watched today. I hope you've learned a few valuable tricks. But what I want you to leave this with are two things. If you're going to be investing money into your home renovation or whatever, spend the core amount of money or the larger amount of money on the things that are going to add value to your investment, like the tiling works or the marbling works or the wet works or the extension works or the M&E. But then economize your budget on the other things. You don't need to buy a $65,000 Minotti sofa. You can buy something that is a lot more practical and realistic. So I hope you got something from today's webinar, and I hope in the future I'm able to meet each and every one of you personally, but I wish you absolutely nothing but the very best, and good luck to each and every one of you. And Carlos, again, thank you so much for the great introduction, and to the editing department, thank you for making me look slim and trim and gorgeous, and everybody have a marvelous, marvelous, wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Blaine, for that wonderful sharing. It's really nice to see how we can actually get creative with our ideas to design a space, being economical as well. And I think we can see that certainly it's not necessary to splurge so much. Like you were saying just now, 5 million versus 500,000, right? To splurge money to achieve seamless designing, which can actually be personalized to be classic and sophisticated. Now, Blaine, I think we're going to allocate the next 10 minutes to take a couple of questions that are coming in. Just going to pick them up as we go along, and I'll direct them to you. Now, our first one is by Nico Alberto Arana. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Now, the question here is, what suggestion can you give for people like me who has poor taste in design to obtain the style that you call sexy? I've been checking out design magazines, yet my design taste is still poor.
Well, first of all, with a name like Nico, I can't imagine that you've got poor design sense, because Nico is such a sexy name. So Nico, get your shit together about that. That's just ridiculous. But I get what you're saying. Inside each and every one of us has got that inner interior designer. But if you're worried about that, when you go to a shop, instead of just buying accessories piece by piece by piece, in shops, they generally are clustered, meaning there's a larger piece with a softer piece with maybe an artificial plant and then something really textured. It comes in kind of a set. Or look into the shop window and see how it's being dressed or see how it's being displayed. Instead of buying just one-off pieces, buy a cluster of pieces, but make sure you know exactly where you want to put that in your house before you purchase it. And spend a little bit of money. Go talk to a consultant. Universities are full of interior designers in training. These people need experience. Talk to them. Gain their advice about these kind of things to be able to do it. Or come and talk to me. I'm always happy to talk to anybody who wants to talk about design. I'm not going to do much FOC, but let me tell you my advice and my history and my experience. I'm always willing to share that and help anybody create a beautiful home.
So I think we have another question here by Crystalline. The question is, I don't really fancy greens, particularly plants, indoors. Are there any suggestions that can substitute greens?
Well, first of all, that isn't a question that I haven't heard many, many times. Most people say that they don't like having green in the house because they feel they have no green thumb and it just dies within 24 hours. And I hate to say it, but I'm kind of one of those people as well. Buy it, it looks great, but then I realize, there's a lot of maintenance involved and I don't want to have to do that, even though watering a plant twice a week isn't a big effort, but still, I often forget to do that. And to be honest with you, I get my maid to do that. I don't do that myself. But are there other things to do? Absolutely. Oversized statement art piece. That's it. You've got a clean wall, a huge wall that perhaps is painted in a feature color, a huge oversized statement art piece, and bang, the whole entire room is pulled together. And then in that art piece, whatever the major color is, whether it's blue or green or orange or whatever it is, then pull a throw blanket to hang over the sofa, or pull two accent cushions to put in one of the chairs, or go buy a glass vase that pulls that same feature color from the oversized statement artwork and put it on the side table or the coffee table. So you've taken out the green, but you've created a statement with oversized artwork. Oversized artwork, that's the way to go. That's what I say.
Thanks, Blaine. Christine, I hope that answered your question. You can always look at bigger, oversized art statements. And I think when I say this, the more drama, the better. Blaine, we have another question from Nico Peters here. Hi, Blaine. Sharp edges are a common safety concern when tiling with ceramic tiles. Chamfering exposes different colors, and corner pieces break the homogeneous look. What solution would you suggest to improve safety and at the same time maintain the aesthetic?
Okay, that's a very good question. That's actually a question. For me personally, as a creative director, it's all about design, design, design. It's not necessarily about safety, safety, safety. But we have to take that into account. When you're doing edges with a ceramic tile, the way that they're put together is really important. There are different styles and different types that you can put them together. Is that necessarily going to make them any safer if your child falls over and knocks their head on it? Not necessarily. But when you're doing the tiling, make sure that the flow space, meaning when you're entering the bathroom, for example, whether you're turning right or turning left, or you're going straight, or you're going up or you're going down, make sure that your tiling work or your edging on the countertops or on the bathtubs, they're put in a way that doesn't interfere with the natural flow or the natural walking way or the environment of getting through the space. This is one way of doing that. And first and foremost, avoid the problem altogether. Use a product like Slipstop or a product that is going to limit the possibility of somebody hurting themselves or injuring themselves. Also, if you've got a corner on a vanity top or on a bathtub, that's a good place to perhaps put an accessory on that corner so that it's very visual statement. As soon as you walk in, you see that. So you naturally kind of avoid going in that way where you could hurt yourself. And ample lighting. A lot of times now, everyone wants that really sleek, dark, sexy bathroom where you get in the bathtub and the bubble baths. But I tell you what, you have to have the combination. You've got to have the combination that when you're in there, you can create the sexy feel. But then when your kids are in there, ample light can be put on so everything is visible and dangerous things or accidents are much more limited from happening. But that's a very good question, and it's almost one that's very hard to avoid. I could say put plastic tabs over the corners, like a lot of parents do. They'll put the plastic on the corners of their coffee tables. Ugh, I hate it. But if you've got 2 kids or 3 kids and they're 4 years old or 5 years old and they run around and never listen to you, then you're going to have to do it for a year or 2 just to make sure to give yourself peace of mind. Thanks, Nico.
Okay, thanks, Blaine. So clearly design, layout, flow, and the surroundings are very important to consider safety as well as design. Now we have another question from Natasha. Question goes, hi, Blaine, amazing work. Just wanted to ask how you would personally expand your design knowledge, or rather, what is your favorite method to expand your knowledge? Is it through travels? Thank you.
Oh, I love that question. Absolutely love that question. I tell you, finding inspiration is not necessarily in always the most beautiful things that you see. Sometimes in the ugliest things you see, or the things that affect you emotionally or affect your heart. For example, on a trip to India a couple of years ago, I was in a car. We were driving down this road and there were a bunch of kids playing in a field. They were playing football. And I asked the driver to stop because I wanted to get out and watch them. So I got out of the car and I turned around and I looked at all of these little Indian kids with really dark skin playing in the sunshine. And they turned around and they looked at me and they smiled. And when they smiled, their teeth were just so white. And it was like being hit by this bolt of energy. You know, it was not necessarily the most beautiful thing, but it was something that really inspired me and emotionally affected me. And for about a year after that, I went through my white accessory phase. After that, it was like everything accessory was white, 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 white. You know, so how do I expand on it? The question was, do you travel? Do you read magazines? Blah, 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 blah. What you do is you get out and you live your life. That's what you do. And you take advantage of every opportunity to see and to feel and to expand. And you would be so surprised what you do see. But what's most important is keeping your mind open and allowing what you see to hit you and to emotionally affect you. That's what makes you the best designer, and keep evolving and evolving and evolving. It's not necessarily going to the best hotels in Paris, and I've done it, I've seen it, you know. What it is, it's the unexpected things where you really learn how to expand and grow and become better in your industry. Thank you so much. What a beautiful question. Thank you for letting me express that.
You've heard it here, ladies and gentlemen, from Blaine himself. In terms of expanding your design knowledge, it's all about going out there, living your best life, and learning those experiences as you go along. Now, Blaine, I think we have time for maybe one or two more questions.
Okay.
Next question here is, earlier you were talking a lot about accessories in a space, be it an art piece, the different colors, even on the windows. Now, the question here is, does the size of the accessory matter in a space, and how do you determine that?
Absolutely, it does. And absolutely, this is always a problem that happens. I'm going to be honest with you. 95% of the world population have got absolutely no taste whatsoever. That's why I have a job. You know, people always tend to go out and shop and buy things they love without thinking about the big picture. Going out and seeing a sofa that they absolutely loved and buying it, and then bringing it home and realizing that it's too big or too small, or realizing that the L shape is on the left and it should be on the right. So the trick here, like with accessories, is think about the big picture. Don't just buy what you like or what you love, but first think, where are you going to put it? Is it going to be too big for that space? If it is going to be a little bit too big, what should I buy to go with it to minimize it or to balance it or to pull it all into a nice balanced framework? This is what's important. So my answer to that is, stop buying what you love, think about the big picture, and buy what is right for the space.
Right. Thank you so much, Blaine. It's always about the space in the environment that you're going to design and how everything is going to come together. Now, Blaine, we have one final question. We've got time for one final question that we're going to take. This is from Quack Jimmy. What is your opinion by inserting copper lining or stainless steel lining to separate the two different floor materials?
Obviously, what was the name of this person?
Jimmy.
Jimmy, good question, Jimmy. Just by that question, I'm kind of assuming that you might be kind of new in the interior design business, if you're in the business, or if you're thinking about adding that into your home interior. I'm all for it. Absolutely all for it. It takes a clean, simple design up at least 5 notches. But the question is, it's going to be a little bit more costly to do. And first and foremost, you must work with a contractor or a supplier that is capable and experienced in doing the installation of putting in a copper inlay or a stainless steel inlay. but it definitely creates a design feel. But also be careful here, you don't want to over design. There are areas where just a clean, simple installation of tiles is right. And then there can be that one area or that feature wall or that feature part of the floor where a stainless steel or a copper inlay is just perfect, especially tile, copper inlay, tile, and then a designer rug inside of that. You've just created 4 layers instead of just having 2, tile and carpet. By putting in the stainless inlay, you've created 4 visual layers. And at the end of the day, it's all about the visual appeal. So do I support it? 100% I support it. Do I think it should be used everywhere? Absolutely not. Be very careful where you use it. Only use it where it's going to create the most amount of impact. And make sure you have a qualified contractor or supplier to do it, because it's expensive, and once it's done, it's got to stay forever.
All right. So it's all about the visual appeal as well as considering the long-term design effects. Blaine, thank you so much. Those are the questions that we have. And before I wrap up, I just have, I rather want to give you an opportunity to share your last thoughts. So with that, I'm going to ask you, Blaine, based on your experience as an interior designer all these years, what advice, perhaps your top 3 or even your first singular advice, would you give to new homeowners when it comes to designing their space?
Okay. First and foremost is you have got many, many choices of people who you're going to work with, meaning interior design firms. I said it earlier in the presentation, but I am going to say it again. I suggest 2 ways of finding an interior design firm. Number 1, get a referral. Talk to a friend or a coworker or somebody who's had a good experience with an interior design firm, and then sit down and talk to them. Number 2, don't just go to the internet and choose the one at the top. Don't do that, but at least choose 2 or 3 and sit down with all of them and have a meeting. This meeting should not be about, here's an invoice for design fees. This meeting should just be about getting to know each other, getting to know about their character, getting to know about their family, getting to know about the project, getting to know about their lifestyle. And at this particular meeting, building a relationship with them of trust and integrity. When the interior design firm leaves, you and your family members, you have to ask yourself, how do you think we would feel working with this particular firm? If you feel, I feel good about these people, like not just what they said was like, yes, they can do everything, but they've really made me feel as though they understand who I am, and they've told me the good and the bad and the ugly, because in renovation, there's good, bad, and ugly. So that would be the most important thing, referral or interview a few different interior design firms and make your decision based on how you feel and not just necessarily on what you're told.
Thank you so much, Blaine, for that valuable final insight. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us for today's session. We have come to the end of our webinar. We appreciate you being with us here today. And if you would like to learn a bit more about design and also the products that you can incorporate into your design to have the sophisticated feel without breaking the bank, you can always connect with us via our social media. You can connect with Blaine Robert Design via their website, Blaine Robert Design, as well as on Facebook and Instagram. You can also connect with Niro Ceramic Group on our website, nirogranite.com, as well as on our social media on Facebook and Instagram. Now, for more information, you can also reach out to Niro Ceramic Group at nirogranite@nirogroup.com, or give us a call, or even visit the Niro Ceramic Group headquarters located at Shah Alam. Now, thank you so much once again for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I'm your host, Carlos, on behalf of Niro Ceramic Group, signing off. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.